me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
I say a lot, it's fail upwards, or don't be afraid to fail to succeed. You know, it's a field where it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to not know how to do something, because it's the opportunity to learn from that mistake and then grow and grow from that. It offers, you know, younger people like Destiny, or, you know, other college kids or young professionals, take chances and grow on things that maybe they're unsure about, but they have a passion to try. Not be afraid to fail. Like Destiny and I talked, she's done so many different things with running a scoreboard or running the video board and things like that. And it's
Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Today, we're diving into something special, the heart of the future of parks and recreation, with a spotlight on the Young and Emerging Professionals Network, or YPN. Whether you're just starting out in your career or looking to reignite your passion for this field, this episode is all about growth, connection, and purpose, and we're thrilled to be joined by two incredible leaders in that movement, Chad Norton and Destiny. They'll help us unpack how YPN creates a strong, supportive community for young professionals with mentorship, leadership development, and real conversations about what it takes to thrive in this field. From overcoming imposter syndrome to building relationships that last a lifetime, this is an episode that honors the next generation of leaders in parks and rec. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get into this YPN special, only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show. All right, this is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, again with the Daily Parks and Rec Show, our 101st episode. Thank you, everybody, for getting us to the 100th episode. We have a special guest with us, Destiny. She is a college student at RSM. She is studying to be in Parks and Recreation as a career path. And this was one of the communities that we really wanted to serve, because Parks and Rec is such a mountain of knowledge and wisdom and practice that you have to attain. And so it can be kind of intimidating coming into it. So we wanted to create a show specifically for young professionals like Destiny, still in college or recently graduated, and then also emerging professionals. Let's say you're coming out of an industry, and so you're not new to the workforce, but that you're new to Parks and Rec, and you kind of have to get your bearings straight. So that's what this show is all about. It's going to be every Friday. This is our second one, 12 noon Eastern. And then Chad Norton is one of the heroes that's saying he wants to be a mentor to help these people out, this community out, the young professionals, the emerging professionals. So I really appreciate, Chad, all the work that you're doing and volunteering to help organize this. Young Professionals is already going. It's a great network that's been around for quite a while. And currently, Molly Keys is the president, along with Gabby Vera, who are both very talented directors of their community in Parks and Recreation. They're in the background helping to organize this Friday show. So Destiny, great having you. Chad, great having you. Destiny, how did your week treat you?
Pretty good. It's been busy. Last weekend, I actually got the opportunity to go to a NASCAR race in Darlington, the Goodyear 400. It was great. It was super fun. I was interning with the marketing team there. So super busy, got back super late. Just been trying to grind out the homework and everything this week, get it all done so I can have a weekend off for once.
Yes.
But overall, take it week by week. It's always great.
That's your first NASCAR race?
Not my first one ever. I grew up watching NASCAR, and now my brother-in-law is a pit crew member with NASCAR. So I've been surrounded by it, and that's my second time at Darlington. My professor that I have this year took me last year too. And then that was just kind of as like a viewing thing for one of her classes. And then this year I got to reach out to a woman that runs all the marketing, and I got the chance to go and see what it was like before the race even starts.
Yeah, that marketing degree is going to serve you well. It seems like so much of our life is in marketing, and to have a kind of a taste of the profession in your toolbox is going to be priceless. So get as much as that as you can. Chad, how about you? How's your week go?
Yeah, I don't have homework, thank God. I don't know if I could get it done nowadays. we are in false spring here in New England, so we're bouncing back between 60-degree and 20-degree days. So it's a challenging time to to live in New England right now, but we'll get there. We'll get to the other side.
Right. Well, in New Orleans, we're over here in fall summer, which is pretty much all the time. It's either hot or almost hot. But
Sorry, Destiny knows my pain. She's originally from the Northeast, so
Oh yeah, it's awful.
yeah.
when we talked about it, she understood. She's in nice weather now, but she understood my pain.
I've been getting pictures from home of snow, and I'm like, oh, I get
Oh,
lucky if I get that once a year now.
Now, Destiny, you're from New York. Did I hear you correctly?
Yep,
What
upstate
part?
New York.
Upstate.
like-
Oh, that's gorgeous.
15-ish minutes from Albany.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's a gorgeous state. So maybe we can go into maybe just start with your childhood. You said you were into sports. So what sports, and then kind of what attracted you to the industry of Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, so growing up, I came from a very small town where you could quite literally play every sport at the time, and they wanted you to because there was like 50 kids per grade. So they're trying to get everyone involved somehow. So I grew up playing a little bit of everything: soccer, basketball, honestly, whatever my parents could get me into and keep me out of the house. And then once I got to high school, I ended up moving to a bigger school closer to Albany. And that's like the best thing that's ever happened to me. In the moment, I was so upset because I didn't want to leave my friends, but without that opportunity, I think I would not be where I am today. I ended up sticking with volleyball and throwing throughout high school, and I got so lucky with the team. They're absolutely amazing. I had great coaches throughout everything. They've taught me so much and gave me so much love and passion for what I do now. And then my sophomore year of high school, they introduced a sports marketing class, and it was kind of a very new thing. It was ran by the girls basketball coach, and I was like, you know what? I want to try it out. I love sports. Let's see what it's about. And it was really trial and error for sure, but it's bloomed a lot, and now they have so many more courses there. And ever since that day, I still message my teacher now, and I'm like, hey man, if it wasn't for you, I would not be doing what I'm doing, and I just absolutely love it. So all my thanks go to him all the time. That class completely changed everything for me and just instantly had my interest going. I thought I wanted to do interior design, and then everything just switched, and I knew for my sophomore year, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Sports marketing is going to be actually marketing, like I was saying before, in general, is just a great field to be in, especially in this digital age. I think there's going to be so many opportunities opened up to market, whereas typically a marketing professional was only be able to be hired by, very large companies. But now it seems like marketings can be a part of almost every profession. Chad, how did you meet Destiny?
So funny story. So Destiny is a sophomore at Coastal Carolina. Go Chants. And
Wait, y'all have to explain that. What is this?
okay, so the Chanticleer is a fancy rooster, and that is the mascot of the Coastal Carolina. And this is supposed to indicate the rooster with the feathers and the
I love it.
face. So
I love it.
So Destiny's a sophomore there. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is a sophomore at Coastal as well. And when my daughter started there, because I'm in the field, when I started to work with YPN, I wanted to help build the network with the college students, college universities, and start to blend our two fields together so we could help each other with what we needed support with.
Right.
I reached out to the one of the head professors at Coastal, Don Rockney. He's been phenomenal. We've talked a lot about the field, the industry, how we can help students. And when you and I, Craig, had talked the other day about potentially let's talk about getting a student on and talk about their journey. I had reached out to Don, and he suggested I believe to the class, and Destiny was one of the first people to jump all over it.
Nice.
So, and her and I had a conversation the other day for about a half an hour. I feel like I've known her forever. She is gonna kill this interview. She's going to kill in this industry. She's a phenomenal outlook on, just life in general, but what to do inside of the field. So I was thrilled to get to know her and really kind of be able to watch her journey, as we go along.
So Destiny, where did you get this ability to just volunteer, step
Oh,
out
I really love it. I am someone that like I just want to do everything. I always have. In high school, like one thing that people always question is like I was fortunate enough to where I didn't have to have a job in high school and I was just like very involved with all my sports. But then I like all my free time was to volunteering instantly. I was big with the Special Olympics. Um, I got very lucky. We had a youth activation club within our school that was sponsored by Kevin Herter, who currently plays for the Chicago Bulls. And he's absolutely amazing, cares for the kids so much, and it's such a great environment. So every like minute that I had to myself was spent with these kids. And I just love giving good experiences to other people. And it honestly like is such a good feeling, even talking to the parents or like just people coming to like all of our games and stuff and just having them have a good experience, seeing us having a good time with these kids that now feel like they're included with this community that like everyone is involved with. And it's just I love it. I really do. It's just something that like no matter what I can do, I just want to meet people. I want to hear their story. I want to get to know people and just like give them a good time too.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because I mean, the body of knowledge that you know versus what you don't know is vast differences between the two, and that really goes on for your entire life. So for you to be starting off so young, putting yourself out there into new experiences is again, that's going to serve you very well if you keep that up. Because you can ask Chad. There's still so much. If you're open to learning, you're always like, I don't know anything. It seems to be a life lesson.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel like in especially in the field of park and recreation,
Mhm.
a lot of departments are smaller departments. So you find people within your departments handle many jobs. So you may be in charge of programmings or summer camp, but you're also doing marketing, you're doing bookkeeping, you're doing this and that. So the ability to try new things, kind of ace of none, jack of all trades, but ace of none is really true within the park and rec industry.
Mhm. Yeah, and with this new pace of innovation and technology that's taking the planet by storm on every level, that we all have to be. It seems like so much of the world is new to all of us, and so to be very adaptable to change is going to be a superpower because everything's changing so fast now that if you can't keep up, you just get left behind quickly. So now maybe talk a little bit about what attracted you to Parks and Recreation and sports management, that whole field, as opposed to any of the other fields. Like you said that there
Yeah.
was a huge difference between, you say, interior design, and then all of a sudden this pushes you, propelled
Yeah.
you.
I grew up always watching like little interior design shows, so I just kind of like
Mhm.
naturally gravitated towards that. But then like I don't think I realized how involved and broad like the categories are when it comes to recreation and sport. And even going into coastal my first year, I thought I only wanted to do sport. But then I had a class with my one professor, Beth Johansson. She's an amazing woman. She's a big recreational girl. And she kind of opened my eyes to it. And I was like, hey, like maybe this is something I'm interested in and I want to check it out. And I feel like there's just so many opportunities that people don't realize, and you can be doing all the same things. Like, yes, obviously, it would be amazing if I could go work for a big sports team, but I'm able to get those same experiences within recreation, and that's truly amazing. But I ended up getting a job at our local gym, and it's been great. I like doing recreation. It's fun. It's calming. It's still a little bit of crazy too, but we do what we can.
Yeah.
And I think it's just good to see both sides and not stick to one path because now I'm at the point where like there's so many things I'm interested in instead of just like one direct endpoint.
Yeah. Chaos is where creation happens. It's in that
Mhm.
disorder that we find, I guess, purpose and meaning, and we can create out of that. I don't know if it's possible to create without mixing in a bunch of chaotic things. And so if you're looking for a chaotic industry that's always throwing something new at you, you found probably the world's best because you will experience. Maybe Chad, tell her some of the few things she might experience from whether it's a farmer's market or a daddies and daughters dance or an Easter egg. I mean, the list goes on and on of what you could
Yeah,
encounter.
I mean, like you said, it's everything. There's a little bit of chaos on any given day. You really don't know. There's so many things that we do, that are the weather dependent, and then especially, what part of the country you're working in. like for us, we just had our Easter egg hunt planned for last week. It was bad weather. We had to change it to this past Thursday. So that's just one instance of, you know, how weather dictates the things that we do. You know, it's a evolving day. You can set your schedule as well as you try to plan it to be. And I don't know anybody that's in our field that can say, well, my day went as planned. You know, there's always something that comes up. But again, that's like you said, you know, it gives you the opportunity to really put a hat on in different fields and really try just a variety of things.
So now, what attracted you to RSM? Is that just a family member went there, or did you just pick that out of a hat? Or
I think it was literally that one class that I took afterwards. I was just like, this is what I want to do. And then like, I guess the other side would be like, oh, like, why don't you do exercise science then? Or like anything fitting under that. Truth is, I'm awful at science. Like, it's not my strong suit. And so, like, when I was visiting other colleges, if they didn't have RSM, I was like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, like, my grades are still very important to me too. And I thought that RSM was just like a good place where I can get my sports, I can get my overall fitness still, like, I can get that full experience. Plus, I like talking, I like meeting people, like I said. So I feel like that was the perfect way to get myself out there and just have the chance to like hear other stories and just meet everyone and find ways to make all these people happy in different ways. And I think that's awesome.
yeah, yeah. And so, tell us more about the degree, curriculum, kind of the classes so far that you've kind of learned in your sophomore year, correct?
Yep.
So,
So, sorry, you go.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So this is like the first year that I've really had a bunch of RSM classes. I personally chose to get rid of like all of my pre stuff my freshman year because I just didn't really want to have to deal with them later on. But there's so many different things that go on. Currently, I'm taking a moral and ethics class within sport management, talking about just like the legal sides of everything, which wasn't even like my personal interest. And I never even thought I was going to have to like look through that type of stuff. But obviously, it's very involved for both sports and recreation in general. I'm also
What are
taking.
some of those things that you learned there?
Okay, yeah. So like I will get currently we're talking about gambling and it was like the what was it, the White Sox forever ago when they had like their players that were gambling to lose their own game.
Oh, wow.
You don't even think about. And then like you have to come up with the rules for all that stuff. And like how can we allow people to have their basic rights while keeping sports fair to both players, coaches, refs, and the viewers? And it's crazy how involved everything is. But just like small stuff like that, you don't really think about, but there's someone out there that has to deal with it. It's
Yeah,
honestly mind blowing.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I can remember I took a class similar back when I was in school, and you don't realize, you know, I think a lot of people that are sports fans or recreation, you know, in the field and stuff realize how many moral and ethical and legal decisions are behind what we have to do. So I remember one of the topics we talked about in our class was a case study of, um, you know, the ball, you were the manager of a minor league ballpark, the concession manager, and you were noticed that the hot dog buns that you got for the game had a little bit of mold on them. Now, do you decide to go ahead and maybe still sell those, hoping people won't notice? Or do you take the financial hit and don't sell hot dogs for the day? So, you know, it was interesting to kind of work through that and see how people would respond to that. And nowadays, a big thing is changing logos. So, changing logos, changing names, alternative jerseys, and things like to increase revenue for your organization's team's programs. You know, that's a huge thing, and moral ethically challenged decision. So, you know, one of the things Destiny and I had talked about, we talked about she had just recently done the race at Darlington, is how early she got there and how late she left. How the people who, when they go to an event, they don't realize, you know, they're there for the, you know, okay, the game starts at 1, I'm going to go at 12, I'm going to get my food concessions, I'm going to watch the game, I'm going to leave. You don't realize the people, you know, that are there at 8:00 a.m. for, say, a 4:00 game and don't leave until 2 in the morning. So there's a lot behind everything.
It was crazy. My morning started at 5 a.m. and my day ended around 11:30 p.m.
On this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about the campus, where it's at. What's it look like if you were, let's say you were doing a sales pitch for the college.
Honestly,
What would you tell them?
sometimes I think I should be a tour guide because
Yeah.
I love coastal. I really do. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I toured it my sophomore year of high school, and then I toured it again my senior year of high school, just because I am a little bit indecisive. But at the end of the day, like coastal just feels like home away from home, and everything about it, like they're so involved with their students. There's always things going on for the kids, like whether we had silent disco the other night. I didn't even know that was a thing, but they just do all these different events to like try to bring everyone together, and there's something there for everyone. Like every building matches up with like the different majors. Like if you talk to all of our RSM majors, they'll tell you your favorite building is probably Penny Hall, and it makes sense and it's very fitting. Where like an arts kid might like Edwards building, which is covered in all of like the art stuff, and it's so crazy to me how like precise they were with the intentions of finding something for everyone. And honestly, like walking on campus is just great. There's palm trees everywhere. We have a bridge with like a turtle pond, and like you can sit outside, and then there's just so many things that were so like tailored to everyone that I
Mhm.
think was just crafted beautifully, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus
no,
your 10 minutes from the beach, which
yeah,
never
Oh
hurts.
yeah. That too.
that's what
You
I'm
might
looking at.
Yeah, and you might have even seen it's been a lot in the big time media actually now is the football program or the athletics department just announced that concessions for the fall football season are going to be free for all ticket holders. So if you go to if you have a ticket to a football game in the fall, you go free concessions the entire time you're at the game. I think there's some, I'm sure there's some stipulations to it, but um, that's another avenue that not only the school is doing to enhance for the students, for the people that are they have a big fan base locally, but again I think that's part of the RSM field.
Mhm.
How does making that decision affect revenue, bottom line? Are you putting your fans in front of money, which is important for a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a big risk, but we recently got a new AD, Chance Miller. He's great, and he's been doing so many things. Like that got us so much media coverage. We were on the Pat McAfee show. We had what's his name, Jesse Cole from the Savannah Bananas, which that one he was like, "Hey, you guys took our idea, but like to see it." Which I'm actually reading his book right now, Fans First. It's fantastic.
Mm.
Um, but even like smaller things, like during the football games, we'll put a chicken up on the board like to try to distract the other team, or even during basketball during like a free throw, same thing. And that's something that got us all over ESPN. And there's just little things that he's doing that I think is very crafty, and I really like it. Like I said it in my class one time, I feel like Chance is turning Coastal into his own little like Disney World.
Yeah.
Like anything he imagines, it just happens.
Yeah, I was looking at it on the maps. It's beautiful campus. I love that color. I don't know what color is that blue, but it's
Yeah,
all
the
over the seats
deal.
and
Yeah.
stadium and field and everything.
Teal Tuesday, every
Yeah.
Tuesday. It's a
I
great
was
thing. It's a like I said, it's a the town, the community buy-in. Conway is the local town that Coastal, right next to the buy-in from the community is huge. They have
Mhm.
a thing called Teal Tuesday. So every Tuesday, students, faculty, businesses, everybody wears teal to kind of support the program. So it's yeah, it's a great program.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Also, we'll have like before our football games, we have Teal Town, where all those like small businesses in downtown Conway will come in and they can like have their own little showcases, or like the one Western boot store will come and they'll like give a pair of boots to someone if they make a kick. And I
Mhm.
think it's just great how the community all comes together to like make one big thing happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into what students need. This is a great category. Great job coming up with these questions, by the way, Chad. So, from your view, what's something the Parks and Rec world is doing really well for the students right now?
I think opportunities. I was talking about this with Chad. It is absolutely insane the things that young adults and like technically even children, like my one roommate was 17 when she got here, they're trusted to do these things that are seen by other big organizations and like, but like at Coastal, my position, I feel like is something that I wouldn't have trusted someone my age to do.
Mhm.
and everything is done by students. And I think that's great that we have these opportunities to be trusted to do these big things and get built up and have that experience. Like once I get to 25, 30, I'm going to have 15 years under my belt of doing something that is so advanced. And I just
Yeah.
think it's awesome that we're given these opportunities.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. So I've interviewed over 300 Parks and Rec directors and superintendents and leaders just by creating this show. Just had our 100th episode. And I was shocked when I say, how many full-time employees do y'all have? And they would say, oh, we have 45, 50. And I say, how many part-time? And they'd be like, 300.
So many.
It's people just like you that are, you show up to run a summer camp with them and you're given, here's these 20 kids and they're your responsibility all day, every day for the whole summer. And you create sports with them and you organize all kinds of activities. And you're right. This is where a leader is born, when given the opportunity to lead. And Parks and Rec is one of the best industries that takes people for the first time they've ever had a job. And they don't just say, here, turn this gear for 8 hours a day. It's actually, here's your chance to lead, take charge, create, giving them responsibilities. And they do it starting with 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. And to me, that is a huge superpower to this industry, is in creating leaders. Chad, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I definitely can't agree with you more. I think it's we've talked about how youth sports breeds leadership, and a lot of other skills. But I think this field, I say a lot. It's fail upwards, or don't be afraid to fail to succeed. It's a field where it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to not know how to do something, because it's the opportunity to learn from that mistake and then grow and grow from that. So it offers younger people like Destiny, or other college kids or young professionals the chance to really, I don't want to say take chances, but take chances and grow on things that maybe they're unsure about, but they have a passion to try, and not be afraid to fail. Like Destiny and I talked, she's done so many different things with running a scoreboard or running the video board and things like that, and it's in the back of your head. I think it's like, oh my God, what if I, hit the wrong button and it does this on the scoreboard and everybody can see it, but then there's the other side of it of, well, what if I don't do that and it's amazing and I succeed? So
Yeah.
it's a great field to really, get your feet in.
Any fantastic failures you've had? We used to call it, every Friday we would have a meeting when I was running my companies, and we would say, all right, fantastic Fridays, or fantastic failures on Fridays. And we would encourage people, tell us your worst mistake that you've made so far this week. And
Yeah. Honestly, there's a few. um, during one of our football games, we had a special guest singer, and everyone was supposed to be like guessing who it was, whatever. And I didn't know who it was. And there's like one button that was like the slide saying, "Oh, we have a special guest," and it's the girl's picture, and she was like a silhouette. And then the next one was like revealing who she was. And my boss was like, "Okay, don't click it." And I just heard click it. So I threw it up, and there was her face on this big board. Luckily, no one was really there yet, but like anyone walking by the stadium, like they could see it.
Right.
Or another time, I guess it's not really a failure, it's more like an inconvenience. But during a baseball game, none of our stats were loading. So I was just like throwing up pictures with nothing on the board. It was just all zeroed out, whatever. So then we had to call the company that we work with, and like they were trying to work with me at the same time because they're on the same computer as me, but a different computer, like the same software there.
Right.
And so every single time that I need to press a button, I was like, "Hey, I need you to not like fix this right now." Or they'd be like, "You can't press a button right now because I need to fix this." And we're just going back and forth babbling, and then they had a chance to throw something up there too. It was a mess, but we figured it out.
Yeah, I have one just on this creating the daily show. Probably my first 5 episodes, and it took my graphics designer or my videographer to point this out. They're like, "Craig, you got to stop recording like this." And I was so trying to be into the conversation and worried about what we were going to say and the content. I didn't even realize that my name was covering up half my face. And it's just, I guess you don't learn unless you start,
You have to. Or even like just recently, I made a LinkedIn post, and this is much more minor, obviously, but I got to see Cole Swindell. I don't know if you know who that is. He's a country singer. He
Mm.
was in the presidential suite when I was at the NASCAR race. And my dad texted me and he goes, Destiny, do you have your autocorrect on? I was like, why? Like, what happened? He goes, well, your post says that you met Cole Swindle. And I was like, all right, cool. So I had to go and see if I could edit it, which I couldn't unless if I deleted the whole entire post. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I had an oopsie on this one because it's already been up for almost a whole day. So
Yeah. That's how we know it was real. It's not artificial. It's not AI generated.
yeah.
All our mistakes. Okay. On the flip side, what do you wish people in the field understood better about student experiences?
I think just like that you don't get everything handed to you. Like I feel like people assume that, oh, like I have the degree, people are going to come to me. But no, like you have to be willing to reach out to other people and get to know people. And it's not always about even who you know, but who knows you. And that's like one big thing that I carry with me all the time because at the end of the day, like I could know your guys' name, but maybe you don't know who I am. And that's going to do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Or when you reach out with intention. I feel like a lot of people will just like, hey, can I get a job? And that's just not how the world works. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to learn the hard way. But at the end of the day, I'd just say like being open to just trying new things, reaching out to those people, even if it's just to ask for advice. Like sometimes that's where you get yourself started.
Yeah, I love that. Say more about that as far as reaching out with intention. Where does that come from? And what is that? Is there a deeper meaning behind that?
Yeah, I mean, like just recently, we have an RSM symposium here where we have a bunch of different coastal alum that will come back, and they're often much bigger fields now, but they'll come back and they'll talk to us and like give us information about where they are, how they got there, and you have the chance to give them like your resume and stuff. I personally talked to a woman that works with the Atlanta Falcons, and it was great. She was awesome, but also she met 500 other students that day, like what's going to make me stand out over them? And then I happened to see her again recently, and I saw on her LinkedIn that she had a promotion. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, like you probably don't remember me, but we talked before. I just wanted to say congrats on your promotion. That was it. I didn't ask for a job. I didn't ask for anything from her. I just wanted to say congrats and remind her of my name. Later on that night, her boyfriend came up to me and was like, hey, Destiny, right? And I said, yeah. Like, hi, who are you? And he's like, oh, like I'm her boyfriend and she just wanted to connect with you and like have you get her phone number because she thought that you were really kind and like just wants to like see where she can help you out. And I feel like that's something that people like will take for granted or be like, oh, like she's in a high position, so they're not going to want to have the time to talk to me. If you make the time to like put yourself out there, they're not going to say no to just having a general conversation. And sometimes I think that can be bigger than just saying, hey, I need a job.
Craig, can
Yeah.
I add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is one of the things that when Destiny had spoke about, when we had spoke, I loved about her. This to connect with intention, and I think also to be personable with things. Like we had talked a little bit before the show started about how AI is such a big force in the field and in the world nowadays, and how so many things have become so disconnected. There's not the level of personality of connecting with people and things. So I gotta commend Destiny for something like that. Like, and that's something I try to do with my summer staff is I try to find something personally, a college they go to, an interest that they have, and connect with them on that level. So to be able to go up and one, not be afraid, to not be afraid to approach someone who's in what we consider a higher position with a professional team or organization, and then to say, hey, I did a little bit of reading about you and you did this, and I know about that. And I wanted to say, thank you or congratulations or something on that. I think is a great feeder and a way to connect with people versus that kind of auto, hey, great to meet you. We'll talk soon type of feature.
Yeah. Yeah, and just now, this is a little science background, and I promise you I'll tie it back to this exact subject. But the human brain is sitting on top of about 4 exahash of compute, which is equivalent to some of the largest data centers on Earth that draw about, somewhere between 50 megawatts, which is LSU campus right next door to me. The entire 50,000 person campus draws only 20 megawatts. Your brain runs on 100 watts, a little bitty bulb. And so it's so efficient because it's a filtration device. And basically it can hold all this information. And when you say, I want to see this, it can comb through a lifetime of memory and say, that's the piece of information you need. And so when you connect with somebody and give them a purpose or a reason to help you, you are literally deploying 4 exahash of compute, and they'll say, hey, Destiny, I heard what you said. I think you should reach out to this person, and they can comb through all the other ways to connect you. But that never starts unless you introduce yourself, like you said, with intention and have a real conversation aside from just, I love how you said, you can't just go to them, can I have a job? It's because it's such little context of how they could truly help you out versus building a little relationship and getting to know each other. So a lot of science going on behind every one of those that is interesting to me at least.
Can I add another point to
Sure.
that? You know, I think it shows the level of interest too if you put a little effort into so you know, once I had found out, once Destiny and I had connected that she wanted to do the show, I went on LinkedIn. Her and I had already been connected as we had tried to connect a lot of the college students to the RSM field. But I went on and went through her LinkedIn and found out a little bit about her, some of her posts, some of the things we did. So I had the ability to have a conversation with her about her background, some of the things that she's done recently. And I'm going to give her a shout out now because she was just voted the Coastal Carolina, the RSM Sophomore of the Year at a awards presentation. So like, for me to be able to say to her, hey, I saw that you got that. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about that, versus just picking up the phone and cold calling her and saying, oh, hey, tell me about yourself. You know, I think you really have to put yourself out there and develop those personal relationships with people.
Anything to add to that, Destiny?
I totally agree. And like, even in general, like that gave you something to connect with me off of, just saying, oh, I have a daughter that also goes to Coastal and is also a sophomore. Like, it's a small world. There's so many different things that you can connect on, even when you don't think it's possible. Like that in general, we are in completely different generations, but we have something in common. And that's with literally everyone. And I think that's so cool.
Yeah, that was something I learned in relationship building through a career of just developing communities and stuff, is that if you talk to someone for an hour, let's say you just listen for an hour, and in that listening, you will easily find 5, 6, 7 things that y'all have in common, either passions y'all have or where y'all grew up, went to school, the type of childhood y'all have. It's just a matter of listening for a long enough time, and you'll find many things that you could connect on. So is there, well, actually, before I ask this question, we're going to do a little commercial break for this very show. Chris, we're going to show your video. Thank you for creating it for us. We gave Chris, one of our video content creators, the task of creating some type of little promo for this show with very little input. So these last 2 shows are probably more input than we gave him. So this is iteration 1, soon to be iteration 2, with the feedback from the community. So we'll press play, and then we have a question for Destiny that could maybe follow up with this commercial. So press play. Hold on 1 second.
The future of parks and recreation is here, and it starts with you. Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Recreation Show, where we bring you the latest insights, trends, and conversations shaping the world of parks and recreation. Today, we're diving into something that's shaping the future of our industry, Young Professional Networks, or YPN. If you love your job and love the parks and recreation community and are looking to connect with the next generation of leaders, this episode is for you. YPN is where driven, passionate professionals come together to connect, grow, and make a real impact. It's not just about networking, it's about building the future of our communities. Why join YPN? Career growth and mentorship. Learn from the best in the industry. Innovative ideas and collaboration. Be part of the next big movement. Leadership development. Take charge, make decisions, and create change. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, YPN is your gateway to success. From exclusive networking opportunities to cutting-edge industry insights, this is where you build your legacy. Because the future of parks and recreation starts with you.
All right. I also wanted to thank Kathleen for creating that along with Chris. They work tirelessly 40, 50 hours a week for the Daily Parks and Rec show. So, okay. So the question I have for you, Destiny, is if you could give professionals one tip on how to connect with students like yourself, what would that be?
Ooh, I would say if you're available to go to like small things, like there's opportunities like that are local when it's just like events like, oh, recently we had a golf tournament. I think it's just so good to get that connection in person versus over line or online if you can.
Mhm.
Because like right now seeing you face to face, this is great. Like I'm going to remember you forever now and like we had a real conversation. So whether you can go in person and find something small that like you can meet, or having a call like this and then being able to just like actually connect on real world things, I think that's a great way to like reach out to people like me, because like now I know that you're interested in me as a person and not just what I can do for you per se.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. And that's one thing I love about video live content is after a conversation like this, I used to be scared that in my companies, well, I was one of the first companies that I knew of that went virtual, and we had all of our meetings just like this. And I was afraid we were going to lose connectivity and that kind of stuff. And we did this years before COVID, as soon as the technology came out. And I was shocked at how much connectivity we had just by having live video conversations weekly with each other. But I still made us all do an in-person event at least a couple times a year, which Chad, we have to organize an in-person event at least once a year for YPN. So
Absolutely.
that's on the books for sure. Maybe we'll go to your university and camp out on the beach.
Sweet.
I don't know. Y'all have some good food down in New Orleans, so I'm
Oh,
I'm
you
more than
can't beat
happy to
that.
head there.
You're gonna pack on the pound if you come down here.
I'm okay. Some muffaladas and some beignets. Just sign me up.
It's hard to cram New Orleans into a weekend. You almost need to give it a year to experience. But yes, yeah, great suggestion. Anything, Chad, that you've
I,
learned about trying to connect?
there's a couple different things. And one of the things Destiny and I had talked about was, don't be afraid to volunteer your services if you're a student and you have a passion to get into the field. And it doesn't have to just be parks and recreation. I know that's what we're talking about, but volunteer your time, volunteer your experience, your expertise in things. I think a lot of times we get caught up in the money side of things, and there's a perfect opportunity for you to walk in. Like Destiny and I had talked about how she's really developed like an interest in social media and how that ties into the sports and the marketing field. And we had talked about how I feel like it's a shifting dynamic within the recreation field where you have a lot of departments. So like my department is only a full-time department where we do a lot of the same work. So we do a lot of our marketing, our management, things like that, where somebody like Destiny who has a background in doing social media things and has a passion and interest in it, to come into a department or somewhere and say, hey, I'll volunteer my time. Like I just want to learn. I want to help out, and learn the ways and learn the tricks and maybe get my foot in the door. But if not, I'm going to walk away with it from experiences. I'm going to walk away with it with knowledge. And then maybe I can take that to the next place I go. The other thing I think about with the park and rec field, I don't know how much of this is true in any other field that I can think of, is we're not afraid of the next generation coming up. We're not afraid of the younger generation taking our jobs. We're here to make sure the next generation is prepared to do our job so that the field is in good hands to go forward. And
Mhm.
that's really what YPN is all about, is making sure that the young professionals and people like Destiny and even students in high school, they have the resources, the tools, and the network that they can grow so that when we leave this field, us dinosaurs with the gray hair, it's time for us to get out of the way and bring in that next generation. There's a willingness within our field for us to grow, and I don't feel like you always see that, especially with different generations in other fields. There's that camaraderie of
Mm,
working with the next upcoming group.
yeah. Anything to add to that, Destiny?
Kind of going off of that, I feel like Parks and Rec, sports, everything, you will find some of the hardest workers ever. And it's really important, I feel like, to separate the ones that like are going to be serious about it and like are willing to put in those hours. And for my generation, I think it's harder to find the kids that want to work that hard. So I also think it's inspiring to see people of older generations being like, this is what you have to do. And at the end of the day, like, no, it's not going to be easy. It's inspiring to see other people that like said, yeah, you can do this. Like, it's possible. And I think it's good to connect with someone who has experience that I don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love how you said about volunteering, because there's something I know we all need finances and funding and a paycheck and stuff, but when you're there just because you volunteered, there's something about that anchors you to the purpose and the impact and your legacy, because there's no paycheck involved. So there must be something that's more tied to your heart and who you are as an individual. And then if you can find a way to get paid doing that, holy cow, now you've got you can do something you're passionate about for life and still fund your livelihood off of it. And most of that type of opportunity is found in volunteering. So if you want to do something that you would do for free because you have done it for free because you've volunteered, but if there's a way to get paid for it, volunteering is the way to go. And this industry is huge. And not just volunteering, but the next stage is like part-time work, which is like summer staff and stuff like that. And so I love the doorways that are how they're structured in Parks and Rec, because it really is a volunteer doorway, a part-time doorway, and then you kind of ease your way in. But at the same time, you get to be right on side of the leaders that are getting elbow deep in there with you, trying to run these parks departments and programs.
Yeah, I think there's a natural progression. Like I deal a lot overseas summer camps. So what you see in the field, especially with summer camp directors or assistant directors, is they started as CITs or counselors in training. They were unpaid positions where they had a passion for being in the camp field or working with kids. And then from there, they became, a summer camp counselor, and they became a paid counselor position. And then from there, they became, maybe a site leader, and then they worked up the chain, and now they're camp directors or park and rec professionals or park and rec directors. So there's that organic kind of growth of, yes, I started as a volunteer, but I naturally just kind of worked my way and took everything that I learned along the way and, parlayed that into where I am now, a professional career.
I love that. All right. Next question. Fast forward a few years, Destiny. What's your dream job? What kind of work do you see yourself doing?
This is like my favorite and least favorite question at the same time. I was talking to Chad about this because Parks and Rec and sports just it's so broad, and I absolutely adore what I do now. Like, I am so happy every time I'm there. I would do it for free. I'm glad that I don't, because at the end of the day I do need money, but I do love it. I genuinely do. So like operations, it's great. Marketing, amazing. But I can't limit myself. At the end of the day, like, I'm excited about quite literally everything that I have done so far, and it is hard to pick just one. So currently I am an open book to wherever my life takes me. I'm meant to be there, and until then I'm just going to take every opportunity that I can.
Holy cow. I love that answer. Kathleen, Chris, we need to clip that part. That's going to be a short. Go ahead, Chris. I mean, Chad.
Oh, I was gonna say mine would be in 5 years to be on a beach somewhere and relaxing. But I have 4 daughters. The youngest is 4 years old, so I will be in this field for probably a couple more years. But Destiny is going to be somewhere, either if it's in this field or in sports. She is going to absolutely kill wherever she is. It's and I was very honest with her. I said it's very refreshing to talk to a college student and only a sophomore, to have the not only the personality, the outgoing, the ability, and the willingness to try to talk, but to just put herself out there and not be afraid to try new things, grow. She just has an amazing outlook as somebody for that you don't always find with this younger generation. So
Yeah.
I would love to see her in the Parks and Rec field, because we would love to have people like her in the field, but honestly, wherever she goes, she's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think she's going to grow where she's planted. Wherever she is, she's going to do well.
Just stay in the warm weather.
Yeah,
I sure hope so. That's the one thing I'm like, oh gosh, I hope it does not lead me back home to New York. But if it does, it does.
Well, it's warmer down south if you want to come to New Orleans. Um, yeah, I love that outlook that, just being happy where you are, flourishing where you are. Because a lot of times we set a point in the future that over there I'll be happy, but that there's always it's a moving target. So if you can just learn to be happy now and enjoy the moments that you have. You're going to go through storms in life. They're going to come no matter what, the ups and the downs. It's You can always learn to be a skilled sailor, and then you can sail through anything. But if you can only be happy when the weather's perfect and it's flawless and all your friend group is just right, then there's going to be small points of happiness versus just loving it all. Life really is a great adventure.
Yeah, we talked about how Parks and Rec is honestly a perfect stepping stone.
Hmm.
I think a lot of kids nowadays have this mentality of I have to graduate from college and I walk into my dream job, or I walk into a job that I'm going to be at for 20 years. And that's not the case. Destiny and I talked about, it's okay to get into the field, especially in Parks and Recreation, because anything that you're going to do at these big, huge sports organizations or any type of business, you're going to learn in Parks and Recreation. It's okay to come into Parks and Recreation and be here for 5 years and then move to someplace else or move to a bigger organization. It's okay to use it as a stepping stone to go on to better and bigger things if that's what you choose. It's a phenomenal field. I've been in it for 25 plus 30 years. I probably am going to stay with it the rest of my working career. So, but it's okay to view it as I want to get in, I want to learn the essentials, I want to learn things, and then maybe that brings me to what the next door opens.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, man, it has me questioning my career choices, because I was a electrical engineer and manufactured stuff for this industry, but now I am trying to tell the story of this industry, and the closer I get to this community and find out what drives them and what their why is and why they're passionate and the impact they like to leave, I'm like, my goodness, this is an amazing industry. But with that being said, Destiny, what kind of mark do you hope to leave on this field someday?
Ooh. Honestly, I always call myself like a behind the scenes girl. I am not one that usually like this is gonna like contradict exactly what I'm gonna say because I guess right now there is a lot of attention on me, but like
Mhm.
after the RSM Sophomore of the Year thing, like my boss, he kept on saying it everywhere. I was like, I wanna be the girl behind the curtain. I wanna make people happy, but I don't feel like I need to be like a big someone. Like I like being someone that's famous for the right reasons, if that makes sense. Like
Mm.
I love walking around and like people know who I am because I made their day or because I did something special for them that just like made them remember me. So I guess just having like a lasting effect on people and more so just having like that good view of, hey, that's a good girl right there. Like
Mhm.
that's the most important thing to me, honestly.
Yeah, I'll make a book recommendation for you. It's called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And he talks about level 5 leadership. Level 4 leadership is more of a flamboyant, everybody knows him, there's famous kind of stuff. But to get to level 5 leadership, you have to have that servant's heart, lifting others people up, leading from the front, lead by doing, showing people what to do. And it's almost the exact opposite kind of person. So kind of like what it takes you to get to level 4 leadership. And it's about all the great companies of the world that have ever been created always have level 5 leadership at the helm of the ship. And you just described level 5 leadership. It's a whole chapter in that book. But that's just great to hear. Anything to add to that, Chad? We're moving
Yeah,
on.
and honestly, I'm the same, as Destiny. I prefer to be in the background. As much as everyone loves the pat on the back and the being told, I was in a webinar the other day and they said, people need to hear thank you or good job 7 times a week for kind of their mental health. So um, I think in this field you'll find a lot of humble people. There's a lot of people that do the job because we have the passion for it, because we love what it is, we love what it does. We don't do it, for the pat on the back. We don't do it for the recognition. We do it for making the world a better place, or putting a smile on a kid's face, or as I've been saying recently, you know, it's hard to maybe break the chain, but can we break a link within the chain? You know, disrupt for good. Can we do something that changes the course of, you know, a kid's, say, a kid's negative behavior? Can we do something in the Parks and Rec field, maybe with summer camp or something, that changes their pattern, changes their pathway, and puts them in a different positive direction? So I think that's one thing you find in our field is the people that are willing to be in the background. They're the backbone of the community.
Yeah, I love that. It definitely takes humility, and this industry can humble you. Not can, does humble you, because there's so much impact that you encounter that you're leaving on little families' lives, little kids' lives, and they're just priceless, and they're going to carry that with them for the rest of their life. And it's humbling to be a part of, and knowing that you're doing your part to orchestrate that.
But can I also, but on the flip side of that too, like, people like Destiny should be acknowledged, and I'm a loss for words today. You know, celebrated for what they do. I told her it was so refreshing to talk to somebody, especially a younger student, who is willing to step up and say, I'll do that, I'll try this, I'll try that. So, you know, you should be acknowledged for doing the things that you do, even though, you know, you prefer them not to be, or might to be. You know, one of the things we talked about in a recent camp webinar is, how do people like to be celebrated? You know, do people like to be celebrated with big kind of galas and this, like that, and big acknowledgments? Or is a simple pat on the back and a silent, you know, or a whisper of thank you, like, enough for some people? So I think that's important as well, is to definitely acknowledge the people that are doing the work that is so important.
Love that. Okay, so a little bit more about Destiny. What's one random fun fact about you that people wouldn't expect?
Oh, this one's so weird, but this is always my fun fact for everything. I play beach volleyball, and this has been my fun fact every single year for all the new people that come in. Growing up, I didn't have pinky toenails. I don't know why, and now they're barely there still, and I have these stubby little tiny toes, and I don't know why, but that's my fun fact that I share, because why? I like, this so random, but everyone's always like, you have such tiny little toes. But that's a fun fact.
So how do you paint the little tiny toenail? Do you
I
attempt, or you
don't.
just
Oh my
leave it off?
goodness. When I was a little girl and my mom would take me to go be like a big girl and do the whole entire experience, they would take like a Q-tip or like a toothpick and just go whoop, or they would literally just like paint my toe and hope for the best.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I always thought it was just a normal thing, and then I found out that it wasn't.
No, that's fantastic. I love that. Best piece of advice you've ever gotten? Actually, we'll
Wait,
go.
are we going to let Craig off the hook without maybe finding out about a fun fact about Craig?
Oh my goodness.
That's true.
Fun fact about me. I have 11 kids.
11?
Yes, 9 girls and 2 boys.
Wow.
That's
Sweet.
I usually don't tell a lot of people that, but it's been chaos. I've grown up with a lot of estrogen surrounding me.
I know the feeling, Craig.
Yes.
Wait, did you have a lot of siblings? Or do you have a lot of siblings?
I was the middle child of 3.
Okay, cool.
And they each had 5, so they're slacking. Just doing our part to populate the planet. Okay, so how about Chad? We need a fun fact about you.
Oh man, I am an open book. I love to read. I don't know if that's a interesting fact. I sing in my car all the time, quite horribly. My wife tells me all the time. Do those count? I'm not even sure if I have anything that's.
What's your favorite song to sing recently?
Ooh.
Recent song.
Like
I wonder what's the newest song that you've heard that you liked.
So I am a huge country music fan. I am pretty much, I listen to everything. You put music on and more than likely I will enjoy it, know the words to it, but I am a huge country music fan. So anything by Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown, Eric Church, I'm singing along to. My favorite, I love the Post Malone stuff that he's done recently, and in country music. He has a great one right now with Chris Stapleton called California Sober. I don't know most of the words, but I try to sing it in my car. I would say a guilty pleasure song of mine, I'm going way out there with this one, is What's Up by Four Non Blondes.
Oh yes, that's an old one.
Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure. So I somehow this is going to come back to get me somewhere. But yeah, that's but yeah, if you see me on the road or at a stop sign or a stoplight, you're probably going to see that I'm singing.
Destiny, what's your most recent favorite song? New song that's come out.
Oh, oh my goodness. This is going to be so
2020.
hard. I also listen to a lot of different music. And also, a fun fact about me, I am a big Metallica fan, which
Yes.
is really shocking.
I love it.
Everyone's like, oh, like you're such a happy little girl. And then Metallica. I'm like, yeah, I love it. It's great.
What's not to love?
Absolutely.
I've been so bad about listening to new music recently, but I'm a big Chris Stapleton fan. I like his song White Horse. That's pretty new, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that counts. She's been too busy studying, getting awards, volunteering, doing stuff. You know, she doesn't have time for music. Just in case your parents.
No. I definitely have time for music. The other day, I actually ended up missing one of my classes, and to apologize to my professor, I played Piano Man on the harmonica for him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think you just set up your next call on here. I think we might have to get a little bit of that.
It's not very good, but my roommate, she has a harmonica, and I heard her play it one time. And I was like, I think I could do that. So then I bought one, and I just watched her do it, and it was something that I could pick up.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Last question. And you can answer them in any order. Worst advice and best advice you've ever gotten.
Best advice? Very simple. It's just 3 words. Keep grinding, kid. That's my favorite thing I've ever heard. And I say it to myself all the time. Whenever I'm tired and I don't want to do something, I look at myself and I just say, keep grinding, kid. Because I feel like that's the truth. Like at the end of the day, you have to do a little bit of everything. It's going to be busy. It's going to be tiring, but it's so worth it. Worst piece of advice?
Well, define what grinding means in that aspect. Like, is that just like work hard or keep going, perseverance kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd say so. Or even like doing the things that I may not be as excited about, like still just like getting through it. Or like if I think something's going to be hard at the end of the day, like I've had so many hard things happen in the past and I've got past them. So why not this? Or even like something as simple as the thing of if it's going to happen to someone, why not me? Or like, why shouldn't it be me? Or if someone has to do it, it should be me, And I think that's just like a good mentality to have. Like at the end of the day, you can do everything. You really can. And it's just a mental game, I feel like.
Yeah. Awesome follow-up. Okay. Worst advice.
The worst advice, I don't know. I feel like recently all I get is just like good things to think about and different opinions. At the end of the day, I feel like advice in general, you could take it with a grain of salt. It could be good to you, it could be bad to you, but I feel like everyone has something to say that in some way or another could help me out. But I really can't think of something that was just like absolutely awful.
I got one. You're not enough. That might be something you hear often in your head. You're not strong enough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not old enough. You're not young enough. You're just not enough. And it's taken me a mini year, probably later in my life, to realize I have everything I need to do what's in front of me. But growing up, especially through my 30s and 40s, that was not the case. I was like, I don't think I have what it takes to do this. And that's just a head game. So it took me a while to overcome that.
The mentality is definitely like the biggest part of it all, because at the end of the day, like even just think about competition wise within our profession, like there are so many people out there doing the same thing as you. And it's like, how are you going to stand out? And that can be kind of like making you feel small in a way. But at the end of the day, I feel like no matter who you are or how old you are, like it's not going to stop you from doing what you want to do if you think that you can do it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's you. Like if you think you can do it, you can do it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Great statement to end on.
She is wise behind her years.
Yes, you're going to do fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank y'all so much both for coming on to the show. Our second YPN show every Friday here at noon. We'd love to find more students like yourself to come onto the show, where we can put as many as 6 panel guests on the show, which last time we had 6, the organizers were. So if you know of anyone else, or if you're listening and would like to come onto the show, you can reach out to either me or Chad or Destiny or anybody on LinkedIn. The Daily Parks and Rec Show is on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. It's on X. I live on X practically, but Parks and Rec typically does not find themselves on X a lot, but we still air live there. So if you'd like to come on the show, if you'd like to recommend someone to come on the show, we really want to create a special place where you can come speak to the entire nation of Parks and Recreation on the topic of being new to this industry, being new to the workforce, and choosing Parks and Recreation as a place where you might want to hang your hat. So appreciate y'all coming on today. Thank y'all so much. And any closing remarks for the community? Chad, would you like to go first? We'll let Destiny take it home.
Keep grinding, kid.
Grinding,
No,
kid.
I wanted to give a couple shout outs. So obviously, first and foremost, honestly, Craig, the network and the platform that you're giving us in the field is phenomenal. And you're not asking for things in return from us. You're just asking us to help get the word out, and for us to be able to do that in this type of platform and the other things that you've offered is just tremendous. You've been a great service to our industry. So, from people like myself and others in not even just the YPN, but just Parks and Rec, anything, thank you for what you're doing and giving us these opportunities. Destiny, I can't thank you enough for jumping at the opportunity to do this. Like I said many, many times during this interview, you are going to absolutely be a force in this field. Whatever field you choose to get into, you're going to be a force within it. But I would love to see you in this field, because I think you're the type of people that we need in this field to do and be the change that this world needs. So we need more people like you. So if you are a professional organization or anybody looking to hire, get in touch with Destiny now before you have to get in line.
That's right.
And Don Rockney, thank you so much for introducing us to Destiny and to be just a sounding board and help us out, and just the whole YPN. This is what it's all about. Please find a way to get in touch with Craig, myself, Destiny, anybody that's involved with YPN. College professors, university professors, anybody, students, if you're interested in being on this, let's build this. Let's make it a network. Let's help, the younger generation where we can. So thank you guys just so much.
Thank y'all so much. If you want to hire Destiny, there's only one on planet Earth, so you better get in line. keep grinding, kid.
Keep grinding, kid.
Yes.
Have an awesome weekend. Thank y'all.
I might have to steal that one.
Yeah,
I love it. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me, though. This is awesome. I didn't know what YPN was until 2 days ago. And this is a great opportunity. Like, I got to say, it is amazing what you guys do. And I'm happy to be here. You guys are both amazing people to talk to. And I'm so glad I could share my story and hear yours as well. So thank you for having me.
Well, we'll stay in touch, and hopefully you can help us find other great people like yourself that are coming up through the ranks, and we'd love to highlight their story and give them any kind of connection that we can help, because the whole point of this show is to give a platform for people like both of you to connect with others across the planet. And fortunately, in this modern age and social media, you can actually connect with people that you had never been able to meet any other way. And so I felt that there was a void in Parks and Recreation having a network of their own like this. And so in Parks and Rec fashion, Shonda Smith, shout out to you. When I suggested that she should do this, she said, "Great idea, Craig, you do it." And so here I am being voluntold. But yeah, appreciate it. It's an honor to do this for y'all. What a great industry to represent. So thank y'all for giving me the opportunity. But I'll be y'all have an awesome weekend, and thank y'all for coming on, and y'all are welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Take care, guys.
You.
All right, so that was Destiny and Chad for our second YPN. What a great show that was. This was such a great idea, by the way. Thank you, Molly. And oh my gosh, I'm going to mention them all by name because we've got some really good people. Thank you, Destiny, who just came on. Thank you, Katie, who actually chaired YPN, I believe, last year followed by Molly, the current president. Gabby's also very active with Gabby Vera over in Arizona. Max and Pierre, Cassie, Rachel, and Chandler, and then of course Chad. Also, these are the organizers. Literally just starting this up a few weeks ago. It was an idea that I got after interviewing Gabby, interviewing Molly. They introduced me to Chad, and so the ball has started rolling. The momentum is real. And this is only the second show. So I can't wait to see what this looks like 10, 20, 100 shows deep. It's going to be amazing. And I definitely foresee us doing something annually in person, hopefully in New Orleans. I will be glad to host that and have everybody involved with YPN or EPN. But until then, we're just going to do a live show every Friday, 12 noon. All right. So how can you support this show? Well, number one, help us grow the network. There are so many young people in Parks and Rec that need to get connected to people like Chad, people like Molly, people like Gabby, because these are great leaders in the industry. And as you can see, who would not want to have Destiny working with them, helping create impact, helping leaving a legacy. I mean, who do you want working for your community if not someone like her? And then help us find the other Destinies out there that are maybe new to the community. They've somehow tied in, but you know, there's so much, so many great people to meet, so many great annual conventions, whether it's your local state convention. By the way, if you want to really expose yourself to Parks and Recreation in person, there's a lot of great state organizations that have a meeting every year. Typically, they're called the state's name, Parks and Rec Society or Association. So if you just Google that, they'll show up. You can get involved. They have an annual convention. They usually roll out the red carpet for college students, sometimes getting them scholarships and stuff. And then there's also great annual conventions like NRPA and others like that, that you really, if you want to understand and see it and meet a lot of great people, I would suggest attending one of those events. Or every town in America, every city in America has a Parks and Rec department. They're running summer programs. They're running sports leagues, you know, volunteer, get involved. Sometimes this can be your part-time job that you run through college. So that way you have real world experience, understanding the industry at a hands-on level. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of jobs available to do this, just so you can kind of get your feet wet and see if this industry is for you. And I promise you won't be disappointed. You're going to meet some great people. You're going to have some awesome experiences, and networking and experience is the way to go. To me, the best knowledge is experiential knowledge. And it's just hard to understand something just from a book or a video or even a conversation. Sometimes you just got to walk out the door and go volunteer to work in the industry that you want to maybe have a career in. So connecting us with people for this show, that's a great way to help us. Another show that we're launching, so we're actually going to have 4 shows by the end of this month. The first show was finding guys like Chad, guys like people like Molly and Gabby, who are just leaders in the community, and just giving them a platform to tell their story and then highlight the work that they're doing in our communities. And that was the whole show. It wasn't long before I discovered YPN, and that was like, wow, this is like all the up and coming leaders. So we should have a weekly show for them. So the leadership series is what we're calling our original show, Monday through Thursday, 12 noon. But on Friday, as we just did, we're going to have kind of a panel where we have 4 to 6 people, like you just saw, and that's going to be every Friday, 12 noon. So what are the other 2 shows? Well, another thing that we saw was we needed content created for the maintenance professionals. Half of the work done in Parks and Recreation is done to just maintain these gorgeous parks, these beautiful facilities. This is a massive real estate portfolio that these people are running to keep our parks beautiful, our trails beautiful, our urban forest healthy, our aquatic centers running, keeping the weeds at bay on all of our sports fields and stickers out of them to where you're not, getting thorns all over the place. And it is just um, just armies of master craftsmen that have dedicated their life to their trade. And when I asked the directors, is there any type of content that you would like us to create for, overwhelmingly it was, we need something for our maintenance people. They literally are the backbone of our park systems. They give us the place to do the rest of our work, which is run all these great programs. And without them, our places would fall down and the weeds would take over. So we have a show 4 days a week, starting next week. I've already put the line in the sand. I am pressing record at 9:45. Well, that's my time. So 10:45 in the morning, Monday through Thursday, park maintenance, everything to do with all the things that maintain, whether you're equipment, chemicals, master electricians, you name it. We're going to cover all the topics from urban forestry to playground maintenance and stuff. And then our fourth show, this is going to be one of those painful shows. So it's just get ready for the hurt. It's coming at 10:45 Friday. Every Friday, we're going to talk right before YPN, kind of a sobering conversation around sustainability, deferred maintenance, finances, accounting, spreadsheets, the hard stuff that we need to keep our health, our parks financially on strong footing. Because we've heard some horrifying stories of parks that unfortunately found themselves in bankruptcy, had to pull themselves out, did not, allow the deferred maintenance to just be crippling. And we have got some true masters that have felt this, have created organizations around understanding this. And then we've also got some really good park systems that are just champions in cost recovery, have a strong financial future, have enough money to take care of all the needs of their community and even some really good wants. So we wanted to give them a whole, because this is a message that, as much as sometimes we avoid the accounting side, we really just want to lead with our heart and do stuff for the community. A lot of times we got to dig into the numbers, and this is something that we have to do very well. And so we've got some really good content coming out around that. That show is not going to be next Friday, so it'll be this month. I promise you that. Before April is over, we will have a show called Financial Fridays, and it'll go at 10:45. So right up to the YPN. So we'll do that show 10:45 to 11:45, 15-minute break, right into the Young Professionals Network. So that's kind of the lay of the land of phase 2. Now, give us a little creative license here as we build this thing out. So those are our 4 shows. Now, how can you help us? Of course, we've got this little guy, LED light. It is supporting the whole channel right now. We do have a great sponsor, Outdoor Link, that pairs nicely with this light. If you want to turn this sucker off and on from your cell phone, along with anything that uses electricity, that has a switch, an on and off switch. So think of all the on and off switches throughout your entire park system that you wish you could control with your cell phone. How about that? How many switches in your whole park system? Now, when I say switch, could be a light switch, could be a disconnect, could be a breaker. If there's a pump, if there's a bathroom door lock that you want, like a big magnetic lock that you want it locked after a certain hour, maybe to keep the homeless people out of your bathrooms. If you would like to turn sports, like a baseball field, on and off, literally on your cell phone, and also program it to come on and off according with the sunrise and the sunsets, or on weekend schedules. Now this can be done through a very crisp and clean user interface that Starlink has built in-house. I have met the people that build this. I made sure to go meet the company and the owners, shake their hands, have lunch and dinner with them before I put the brand of the Daily Parks and Rec show at risk. And this is a very good company, and it actually pairs well with our light fixtures. So it's kind of a hand in glove. I am still looking for other similar partners for the entire show, but this is a good one. Outdoor Link it's just a great company. And I can't say enough about Dave, DJ, Tasha, and Joseph, and Craig, and a lot of the other people that I've met. Good company right there in North Alabama, American made. They brought all their manufacturing in-house in the States. So if you want to buy American and you want a company that has just provided a solution through what we call Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is how everything is connected to the internet. Everything's connected to your cell phone. Yes, now your baseball field lights is connected to your cell phone. How about that? How about every light switch that you would want to switch through your cell phone app, a very clean, simple app that anybody can understand without any training. But if you need training, guess how long the training is? 15 minutes. Or like Tasha said, it's a 30-minute training, but the first 15 minutes is us just saying hello and formalities and stuff. The actual training is 15 minutes on how to use this, because it's as simple as many of the apps you see on your smartphone. It's that simple. So turn this baseball field light off, turn it on, allow this coach to turn it off and on his cell phone just for these 5 weekends. Like it's so simple. This is the way technology is going. And so the age of having to drive out, flip a big disconnect off and on because they were left on by the coach, that age is over. And this is very, very cost, what's the best word to use? Budget friendly. How about that? It's very budget friendly. I think it's like $950, and you control 4 baseball fields, and that includes its own cell signal. So it's actually a cell phone signal. You buy a whole year subscription within that $950, plus the equipment, and they've got a really good warranty on this equipment, and you're in business. And so a lot of competitors that are up against them, a similar system is like 5, 6, 7,000, and they need to run it for you. And it's not simple enough for any coach that you might have or any staffer to use. They've created a super simple system, and they cut their teeth with Lamar, the big advertising company. And they have 80,000 of these units that have endured every type of scenario, from insects to ants and weather and freezing and humid, and everywhere there's a billboard in America, they've put one of these units before they came into Parks and Recreation. So I'm glad to have them as a sponsor. I'm glad to have them in Parks and Recreation. And I'm glad they're switching our lights off and on, many of our lights throughout America. So if you use them, they're a major sponsor of this show. So thank you so much for contributing to the show. Good people. And they've hired 3 really good Parks and Rec directors, which is a very common career path after working in Parks and Rec, is to start working in the private sector that provides goods and services for Parks and Recreation. And so, let's see, Dave, Joseph, and Craig are both former Parks and Rec directors that now rep this beautiful product. So that's one way you can help support the channel, is use Outdoor Link. Hit me up on LinkedIn if you'd like me to get you in touch with Dave or the team over there. If you need LED lights just to hand to your maintenance department, we have a 1-for-1 swap. This can replace you take one of the old lights down, you put our light up, you can hand it to your maintenance department. This is, again, very budget friendly. It fits within your maintenance budget, and you're able to get long lasting 100,000 hour LED lights and help me build this media company for you guys, which I'm having a blast doing. And so those are 2 funding sources. And we also have a few cities that are letting us manage their social media with the social media management talent we had to hire to create this show. We also have videographers and networkers and stuff like that on staff. So if they're of use to you, like you need help managing your social media, which now it seems like every Parks and Rec department has to manage social media, because it's how they communicate with their citizens to get the word out about festivals, about programs that they offer, about senior care. It's like this is now how we communicate. Used to be kind of printed work, newspapers, bulletins, stuff like that. But today, everybody's on Facebook or social media of some sort. And that world is changing so fast that you really want to get the professionals in there to help you, especially with the AI and subscription tools that you need to do it well. Just for the Daily Parks and Rec show, we have approaching $1,000 a month worth of subscriptions to help us make the content, distribute the content, edit the content, all that kind of stuff. And so if you had to do that just for your one agency, it's really almost not necessary. So if you partner with us, you get around $1,000 a month worth of subscriptions that our social media manager will be leveraging to help you get the word out about whatever it is that your park system is doing, whether you just want to promote a festival or whether you want to make regular posts or whether you have job posts about lifeguards, whatever. We can help you manage all that for like $100 a week, and you get a 10-hour a week part-time social media manager to pair with whoever else is helping already, or maybe just has that hat to wear. So those are 3 ways that you can support the Daily Parks and Rec Show, the YPN show, the Maintenance Show, and the Financial Friday show. We've got a lot going on here. It has been a blast. Thank you so much for getting us to our 101st episode. I think we're almost up to 370 something followers on our brand new LinkedIn account. And by the way, if you're in Parks and Rec and you're not on LinkedIn, you are missing out. There are some great people on there. Most of all the networking we've done to get the leaders in Parks and Rec on the show to tell their story has been through LinkedIn almost exclusively, even though we actually have quite a large Facebook following, nearly 5,000 people on Facebook. It's been LinkedIn that we've kind of built this network and gotten them on the channel. Now, you will start to see finished products, meaning what we just did with Destiny and Chad as our second episode in YPN. It's going to be now taken back to editing, and you'll see it pop out of editing in about a week, where Chris and Kathleen has gone through and highlighted the clip, a little highlight reel, added some YPN marketing stuff to kind of pump up the show, and then package it nicely with a description on it. It just takes time to do all that kind of stuff. And then boom, it'll pop out episode 101. You can find our entire content library on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. The more subscribers we get, we have to get up to like 1,000 subscribers before we can go live. And because this is such a very niche audience, the entire nationwide audience is only 350,000 people. So, you'd never get 1 million subscribers on a YouTube channel specifically dedicated to Parks and Recreation, because the entire national population is not that big. So every little subscriber counts to getting us above that 1,000 person mark, so that we can go live not only on, which we do, we go live on LinkedIn, we go live on X, we go live on Facebook, and there's one other place that I'm leaving. Oh no, we have another LinkedIn account that we go, my personal account. So that's where the 4th one is. But we would love to go live on our YouTube channel as well. But because we're so young, we're getting there. So please find us on YouTube, watch and share. Which shout out to Mark Flores, who was our 90th episode, and he created a great post about the work that we're doing, and we had a lot of new followers from that post. So every little share counts as we're young and building this up. And then, of course, I appreciate all the hard work from the Daily Parks and Rec Show team and all the hard work from the YPN team that has come together just in the last few weeks. Could not do hardly any of the stuff that we're doing without the help we're getting from both people on staff here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show and all the volunteers that are contributing to launching this media company for Parks and Recreation. So that'll be the end of this week. We will see y'all here again on Monday. Have an awesome lineup. And yes, you heard it here, 10:45 a.m., the first ever facilities maintenance show on, and it's going to just go from there. 10:45 every morning, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, facilities maintenance, Monday through Thursday, facilities maintenance. And eventually we'll get to that by the end of this month. We'll do that Financial Fridays right before the YPN show. So love you guys. Thank y'all so much for giving me this opportunity to do this. Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, signing off for another great week with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. I'll take care. Bye.
When you invest in our high-performance LED sports arena lights, you're not just upgrading your facilities, you're helping us illuminate the untold stories of parks and recreation communities. Every purchase directly supports the Daily Parks and Rec Show, a media platform on a mission to celebrate the heart and soul of our local parks and programs. From after-school activities to summer leagues, these spaces shape lives, and their stories deserve to be told. Why your support matters. Capturing community impact. Your contribution helps us assemble a talented team of digital artists, storytellers, and filmmakers to create compelling videos, articles, and short films that spotlight how Parks and Rec programs change lives. Sharing untold stories. From a child's first home run to lifelong friendships forged on the court, we'll document these priceless moments and share them with the world. Inspiring the next generation. By highlighting the joy, inclusivity, and opportunities found in our parks, we foster a deeper appreciation for these vital community spaces. Light up arenas, brighten futures. Your choice to install LED sports arena lights isn't just a smart investment in energy efficiency and performance, it's an investment in stories that deserve to be told. Be part of the story. Take action today. Purchase LED sports arena lights and help us shine a spotlight on the heartwarming stories that define our parks and communities. Contact us now to learn more about our products and how your support fuels the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Together, we'll shine a light on the moments that matter most.